Good morning, Year 5s. I am a lot more awake today. I slept better last night. So apologies if I was sleepy or boring to listen to yesterday. I also thank you to Thomas, who let me know that I put the reading video on twice. I clearly was not awake yesterday. I am now, and I've got my breakfast and coffee next to me, and it is time to get cracking with maths for Tuesday. So, let's have a look. First one, 86 as a Roman numeral. So, 80, we've got 50, 60, 70, 80, and then 6, the largest one's going to be 5, and then 6. Very long one there for 86. Next one. Now, you might be looking at that thinking C and then D. You should always have the largest one first, but that, remember, means 100 before 500, which is 400, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 413. This one here, 1,206, well, 1,000 is M, 200, and 6. There you go. The next one's now, I'm hoping we're really good with these now. So, into an improper fraction, we've got a mixed fraction, 10 and 5/6. Well, 10 times 6 is 60. And then add another 5 is 65. So 65 sixths. And the next one, 39 eighths. You want to make that into a mixed fraction. So, we know it's going to have eighths, but we've also going to have a whole number here. So how many eighths go into 39? Well, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Too many. 8, 16, 24, 32. So we're on 4. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 7. 4 and 7 eighths. And then we've got this one here. Let's make this one into an improper first. Now, the denominator's the difference, we need to make them the same. Luckily, these are multiples, so 6 can go into 12. It's your choice here. You can either double the 6 and double the 16, or you can halve this one, because half of 12 is 6. Now, I think I'm going to do that. I think it's simpler. So half 12 and half 10 to 5/6. So it's going to be, sixths are the same obviously, 16 and 5, that's going to be 21. And then how many 6's go into 21? So we've got our mixed fraction as well. 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh, look, you can even make that 3.5. If you can see, oh, it's down there. You could even make that 3.5, because 3 is half of 6. So you could simplify that to 3.5. Then on to our area, perimeter, and volume. I don't know why I've drawn them all. Oh, well, I know I've drawn them all there, so I can work that down here. So your first one, let's look at this one first. So what is the area of this rectangle? So you've got 8 by 6.5. So you do 6.5 times 8. Don't forget when you're using decimals, just forget the decimal for a minute. So 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. Add 4 is going to be 52. And then there's one decimal after, there's one number after, one digit, sorry, after the decimal. I'll get my words out. So, one digit after the answer. So, this one is 52, what are we in, centimetres squared. So that's that one there. And then this one here, what is the total area of these two shapes? Now, you will need the total sometimes. It might be that you've got a whole furniture set, and you need to know how much area they take up in total. So, we need to do both of these. So 14 times 4, so 4 and 4 is 16, 1 and 4 is 4, that one is 5, so that one's 56. And 11 by 5.5, so, like we have been doing, 1 and 5 is 5, 1 and 5 is 5, get rid of that 5, 0, 1 and 5 is 5, 1 and 5 is 5. Ooh, and I've got a line here. 5, 10, 5 and 1 is 6. Don't forget there was a decimal in this question with one number after it. So that one is 60. 60.5. But it wanted the total. So now we need to do 60.5 add 56. Now this is where you do need your decimal line. So I'm going to put it like that. For those of you who are thinking, oh, Mr. Cooper, you're going too fast. This is exactly the level what you should be doing right now. Question that requires 2 or 3 math skills here. So we've got understanding what area is, we've got understanding how to multiply by decimal, and we've got long multiplication as well. And it's multiple steps. Okay, this is exactly where we should be right now. Okay, dipping into lots of different skills. Decimal there, so 5, 6, and then 11. There we go. So the total is 116.5 centimetres squared. There's your answer. Okay, I'm wondering if you got that. Right, on to some tasty bit of maths. Another area that I really like in year 5 and year 6, that you have quite a lot of this in year 6, is finding percentages of amounts. Now yesterday, hopefully you did quite well with the task I gave you. So I'm just going to have a slurp of my drink. Ow, that was still hot. Oh. So yesterday, where's yesterday's work? You had a look at things like this. So breaking it down and always starting with doing 50% and 10% is relatively easy, along with 1%. So 50% is half, 10% is divided by 10, 1% is divided by 100. Because there are 10 lots of 10 in 100, and there are 100 little ones in 100. So you can divide that by 10 and that by 100. And hopefully we did okay with that. If you didn't yesterday and you found that tricky, get some more numbers. Get somebody to give you some more numbers. Keep them even. You know, just to help you get the system, keep them even. And just practice doing some more of those. Because this is a very big skill. And like I said, there's another way of doing it, but this is a nice quick way of solving those ones that are multiples of 10 or multiples of 5s. And there's some more today that are multiples of 10s and 5s. So, go back to today's page. Here's what you need to do. 200 children went on holiday. 10% of the children went to Wales, 25% of the children went to Scotland, obviously when lockdown is lifted and you can go between the country borders. How many more children went to Scotland than went to Wales? So you need to work out 10% of 200, 25% of 200. So 10%, well that's easy, isn't it? 10% is just divided by 10. So we've got 200. I'm going to be laughing at this in a minute. So we've got 200. We need to find 10% first. That's what we know we need to find. So 10% divided by 10. Well, that's 20. Lovely. We also need to find 25%. So we need to find 25% here. Now, how can we make 25? How do you make 25? Well, with what we've got, well, hang on, we can get to 20, can't we? Oops, read that really small. You just double it, double 10, so that's 40. But how do you get the 5%? Well, if we're on 10, 5 is half of 10. Oops, sorry. So let's halve it, that's 10. We've got all the information now, we need to get 25. We've got 20 and 5. So 25% is going to be 50. Okay. And, oh, that's all we need. So the children who went to Wales was 10%, so that's 20 children. Children who went to Scotland was 25%, which is 50. How many more children went to Scotland than Wales? Well, what's the difference? 30. So the answer is 30, okay? But this is how we need to start thinking. With multiples of 10 and multiples of 5, how do you get to 25 or 45 or 85? What do you do? Okay. Just as another recap, don't forget 1% would have been 2, and 100% would have been 200, because it's all of it. Okay. Let's have a look at the next one. Ooh, I'll do this one because it's more of a visual one. I know it says colour it in, but let's use our common sense and we'll just say how many we would have coloured in. So, here's a grid made of squares, shading 10%. Now, the reason this question is very good is because I know a lot of people, and I've seen lots of people do this, colour in the first row. Because they assume it's 100 grid, or, you know, when we do 10 or tenths, a tenth is always a row. That's when it's 100. You need to know, first of all, how many squares are here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 30. So this question is basically, what is 10% of 30? Or you divide it by 10. So 10% of 30. I'm just going to do this. Well, we've got the number 30 here. 10% of 30 is 3. So you'd colour 3 in. Easy as that. That question may as well say 30 divided by 10, which you'd have ordered them straight away. Next one over here. So, Hassan scores 40 out of 80 in a test. Kate scores 40% in the same test. So the test is out of 80. Okay, so your total number that you're using now is 80. Who has the highest score? So we know Hassan's got 40 out of 80. Now, you don't need to work out anything here. You don't need to find 40% of 80. And there's a really simple reason why. You know what percentage Hassan has got. If he's got 40 out of 80, that's 50%. Kate's only got 40%. So you don't need to do any sort of calculation here at all. This question is I could have given you this one way back when we were just looking at fraction decimals percentages, you know, how they all relate. You don't need to do any calculating here. He's got 50%, she's only got 40%. So Hassan has got more because he has 50% of the test. 40 out of 80 is half. Bish bash bosh. This one here, John had £5. He gave 25% of it to charity. How much did he give? Right, so we've got to find 25% of £5. So here's my £5. Let's do 10%. Now remember, when we're in money, 10%. So divide that by 10. That's going to be £0.50, which we know as 50p. So I'm going to put it into pence. That one's 50p. What do we need? 25. All right, let's get to 20 then. So double that, well, that's £1. Now the reason this one is tricky is because you're working with money. All right. Some people can get tripped up with this, but we need 25. So we need our 5% as well. So half this one, half 50 is 25p. So 25% is going to be £1.25. Boom. Lovely. I'm trying to point out here that yes, finding percentages sounds tricky. Yes, it's a next step up, getting ourselves ready for the end of year 5, into year 6 and beyond. But you've got these skills already. So remember back in September, October, when I was banging on about times and dividing by 10,100,000? This is another reason why. Ah, Mr. Cooper, you're so wise. I know, guys, I know. Right, I need to, problem with my TARDIS book. I run out of paper quicker than I could turn over. Right, next one. And this was one to try and get you to think about or your knowledge with fractions and decimals and everything. So James has 100 stickers. So he gave 5/10 to Sarah, 10% to Dave, and 0.2 to his little brother. How much does each person, including James, now have? So you just need to get a list going here. So we're out of 100. We've kept it simple. So Sarah has 5/10. Well, that's 50. 5/10, that's half, isn't it? Half of 100 is 50. Dave has 10%. So out of 100, 10% is 10. And his little brother, I'll put his LB, his little brother has 0.2. Now 0.2, we know is 2/10, 20%. So he's got 20%. So if Dave's got 10, let's just double that. So James, how much has James got left if he's given this amount out? 50, 60, 70, 80. He started with 100, so he's only got 20 left himself. There you go. Again, very quick. We know all these things, okay? These should be facts in our heads. That's how you do that one. And then there's a quick challenge at the bottom, which, to be fair, looks ridiculous, but is actually quite logical when you think about it. Explain which is greater, 120 plus 30%, or 150 take away 30%. Well, we can do 10%, can't we? So 10% would be 12. We want 3 lots of 10, we want 30. So 12, 24, 36. So add 36 onto there. That's going to take, well, that's already going to take you past 150, isn't it? So there's no point working that out, because 150 take away 30% is going to be less than 150. We've already got past 150 here, so that one is the greatest. Well done. That is the end of the video, and I hope you've done okay with that today. Really, we should be finding that perfectly fine, okay? So I hope you've done well with that, and like I said, practice some more of yesterday's stuff if you're still not quite seeing that as quick. So if you're not thinking 35%, oh, let's find 10, 3 lots of that, and now we need to halve that 10. If we're not thinking like that, do some more of Monday, okay? But well done for this, and this shouldn't be too bad for you. I'll see you again tomorrow for maths.